right, let's keep the horror talk going. Next up, we have We Need to Do Something. Came out in 2021. Plot synopsis. After Melissa and her family seek shelter from a storm, they become trapped with no sign of rescue. Melissa comes to realize that she and her girlfriend Amy might have something to do with the horrors that threaten her family. Directed by Sean King O'Grady, stars Sarah McCormick as Melissa, Vanessa Shaw as Diane, Pat Healy, a lot of you guys know him, who plays Robert, John James Cronin as Bobby, Lisette Oliveira as Amy, and a special vocal appearance by a certain someone, which I'll get to in a minute here. Now, this, in comparison to the previous film, House of Darkness, that I talked about, is a true one location horror film. And it starts off with all of them ending up in this ridiculous restroom, like they just, or bathroom in their house. They must be insanely rich because this bathroom is like huge. The door is like this really hard, thick, like oak door. There's no windows. There's like these little glass. There's like these little like it's a church or something. Like these little glass window uh like sections in the wall. There's no really there's really no window. So and in essence, what I'm saying is there's no way out. There's absolutely no way out. But this restroom, I mean, the bathroom is like huge for their film. But they come in here because there's a storm. There's a storm. There is a storm coming. That's my Michael Shannon from Take Shelter, which we reviewed here on the channel. Check it out. We had a lot of fun talking about Take Shelter. But yeah, so this is another tough watch for a lot of the viewers. I watched it, got my own opinion, and I'll tell you about what I thought about the film in a minute. But I went on to check comments and reviews, and they were destroying this movie. Just hundreds of comments. Fuck this movie. Fuck this movie. Fuck this movie. Wait, I want my life back. Waste of time. Waste of time. And just burying it like big time. I don't feel as strongly as negative as those comments because there are some things here I did enjoy. After talking about it really quickly, I'm curious if I'm going to say pass or check it out. We'll see when I get there. But again, the family comes in here. Nobody really likes each other except for the mother loves her children and she loves her son. The brother and sister, they're brother and sister, so they tease each other. And the dad is just doesn't want anyone to fuck with him. He's just like, get out of my way. He thinks his wife's cheating on him, which she ends up doing it anyway. You find out later that she was seeing someone. But it's a lot not a happy family at first you're introduced to here. So is that an Optimus Primal cup? Oh wow. Yeah, I gotta represent some Transformers, you know what I'm saying? G1 Transformers. There we go. Got some Megatron on the back there. Yeah, gotta represent. But yeah, back to the film here. So, typical family. Your dad was watching the Meg 2 and he said the first was better. Wow. Woo, that's really making me want to watch it now. Yikes. Oh my goodness. But again, the family dynamic is not amazing. And you don't really know what's going on, right? You think there's tornadoes outside. It's just chaos, right? And unfortunately, during the storm, it blew at this gigantic tree into the house, which blocks the door. So now our family, they're stuck. They're stuck in there. They can't get out because, again, like I said, there's really no windows in there. And the father tries he might, just keeps running back and forth, trying to smash into it, and they're in there for a long time. So how do you make, again, you're stuck with the challenge of a one location movie, and how do you keep things interesting, dialogue? Well, they're smart and they have flashbacks happen, and the flashbacks mostly concern the daughter's character. And she met this kind of goth girl who's had a pass, and they end up bonding, and then they end up becoming girlfriends. Every time, so it would the movie would bounce back and forth. It would be chaos between the family. The father would scream a lot, and a lot of people complain about the dad screaming a lot and spazzing out a lot. It's like, well, think about it. You're the dad. You're the father of this family. You can't save them. You can't do anything. You're useless. Your family is getting hungry. Your family is starving. You guys are running out of water. So the father, I didn't have an issue like many other critics had issues with the dad. I didn't really have an issue with the dad because I think anybody would kind of be losing their mind at that point because they were in there for a couple of days. They were in there. There we go. Wow, oh man, woo. Well, I know the Meg 2 is on. It's available to watch on Max now, right? So who knows? Maybe I'll check it out and talk about it. But yeah, so the movie again goes back and forth. You have the flashbacks with the daughter, and she's calling her friend in the beginning, like desperately. She's calling her on the phone. She can't get through. No one could call out. Nothing really. There's no communication at all, right? And they're basically stuck in there starving, right? Now, throughout the film, whenever the family was on screen, yeah, they had their annoying moments, but I was still curious to see what was going to happen. And plus, the slowly turning into madness type of movie I was kind of hoping for, which kind of does happen later. So that would kind of kept me invested a little bit because I knew shit was going to hit the fan, at least mentally. But every time we had the flashbacks to the daughter, I was kind of checking out and just bored. And I was just like, man, this is why we keep going back to the daughter. Why do we keep going back to the daughter? And then finally, you find out why. Like to the third act, towards the finale, you find out why we've been introducing this character here, and talking about the relationship and then bonding and stuff. And I was just like, oh, so that's what's going on. So again, this is spoiler talk here. So, and it's really frustrating. So it depends on how you guys. I don't know how you'll feel. I'm sure if I recommend this movie to 10 different people, they're going to have 10 different reactions to the finale. But what you find out is, again, they become close to now they're girlfriends, and they end up making out. And this douchebag high schooler boy films them, and you know what happens after that, right? Social media shenanigans and posts it everywhere and shares it everywhere. And they kind of wanted to keep their relationship a secret. And so they want a revenge on this douchebag. So her brand new goth girlfriend is into witchcraft, and she conjures something which ends up killing the boy, but something else is conjured as well. And so the daughter, especially when the son, her brother, gets bit by a snake later, and the daughter's like, "It's my fault, it's my fault," and the mother's like, "Why you stop saying that? Why are you saying it's your fault?" Well, you find out whatever they conjured up, and they didn't. They were trying to scare the boy and get revenge. They weren't trying to kill him. But he ended up dying, and it's again something else was released. So she thinks the storm and whatever the fuck is going on the outside, the end of the world, is what they conjured. Now, what's really frustrating about this film is the movie doesn't answer that question, and that's why everyone's like, "Fuck this movie! Fuck this movie! Fuck this movie! Fuck this movie! Fuck this movie!" Because they want to know, they want to, they want a confirmation. Is like, what's going? Is there aliens out there? What is going on out there? Because you hear freaky sounds of something going up, and something at some point was trying to get through the door. So you're like, is it demons? Is it alien invasion? What is going on, right? And the movie doesn't answer that question, and that's why people, a lot of the comments, the majority of the comments I was coming across, reviews, they were like, "Fuck this movie," but I wasn't there yet, or at least giving my thoughts on the finale. So I thought it was interesting. Again, we don't know what's on the other side. So the best, creepiest, and scariest part of this movie is they think their dog is on the outside. So, well, a dog is on the outside of the door. They can slip their arm through the door, but they can't move it. And the son their dog recently passed away. He was close to the dog, and they ended up burying it. So the son's like, "Oh, is it?" He still misses the dog, right? So he's a kid. He's like, "Oh, is that him outside?" And the mother and father look at each other. They're like, "Oh, this is before everyone started losing their mind later." And the sister puts her arm through the door to try to pet the dog, and you hear the dog out there, like the dog panting, and the dog starts licking her hand. You don't see anything; you just see her stick her arm outside. And again, remember, we don't know what's out there, right? So you stick your arm out there, right? And she's like, "Oh, the dog, he's licking me, right?" And she's all like, "Good boy, good boy." She starts like petting like this, right? And then all of a sudden you hear this really creepy deep voice go, "Good boy," right? And then she looks, she's like, "What the fuck?" And then something grabs her and she's pulling her like there. Everyone's freaking out. Her dad's trying to bring her back in, and she's like grabbing onto something and she pulls it in. And when she pulls and lands, she has a giant tongue. I guess whatever was licking her, she grabbed onto it and yanked it out, and it's this giant tongue. And the funny thing is we had a little joke in the movie of a Ozzy Osbourne joke, like, no, he didn't bite the heads off of snakes, he bit bats, you idiot, right? What's funny, the guy who says "good boy" was voiced by Ozzy Osbourne. So I was like, wow, that's hilarious. It figures. It's the best and creepiest part of the movie. So, hey, what do? They got a piece of meat in their hands, right? What are you going to do? Well, they're all contemplating, like, well, we got to fucking eat this tongue. We got to survive. We're starving. And so they end up cutting up, they end up taking the meat out and just eating it raw, man. They had to do it, right? But, later when the son gets bit by a snake and ends up dying, the father's completely gone at this point, and he even contemplates like, "Hey, man, we got to survive. Maybe we should eat our son." Of course, the mother is like, "Fuck you." Yeah, hold on a second. He said, "I haven't seen it yet." Some friends said the same. Yeah, just on Max this week. So this movie sounds different. The goth teacher looks like she's into dark magic. Well, there you go. Yes, yes, something was conjured, and it's not good. But yeah, back to the movie. More insanity ensues. The father at this point is completely gone. He's like when he was contemplating eating his son's corpse. He's completely gone. And you get some really cool gore effects later. Again, it's all in her head because again, people are losing their minds, and she's having nightmares, and she's blaming herself because of what happened to her brother. So yeah, there's some really good, like there's a shot right here that you're looking at where there's blood spraying right out of her body, and the mom and dad are like trying to get it to drink because remember there's no water. There's some pretty cool horrific visuals and some cool practical effects later in the movie. But again, everyone's main pet peeve was the finale. So at this point, um, the father's completely gone. Where he starts abusing his wife. He starts beating her. He might be, getting the nerve to kill her. Right? He already knows she's cheating on him, and he's gone. His son is dead. He's lost his mind. Oh, I forgot one. Before that, again, they've heard sounds of something not human around the house. And it's not like the daughter is imagining this. Like they all hear it. Even the father's like, what the fuck was that? So something's out there. And there was another scene. I'm trying to remember what it was. They actually hear another human being. It was daytime. They actually hear another human being on the outside checking on them, like, "Hey, is anyone up there?" And the dad, oh, they're all so happy. They're all like, "Oh my god!" The dad starts like, "Yes, my son. He was bitten by a snake. His son's not dead yet. Oh, please help us out. We were starving. We're dying up here. Please help us." And he's like, "All right, I'm coming up there." And then all you hear is like like some kind of horrific monster creature. We don't know what the fuck it is noise. And then you just hear gunfire. Bah, 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 and that's it. You never hear of that guy again. So most likely whatever's out there killed that guy. if it was an alien out there, if there was a monster out there, or whatever was conjured from the girls, that's what's outside. So I forgot to mention that. That was another interesting part of the film. But everyone's pet peeve is the finale. That's everyone's pet peeve. Basically, at this point, going back to the father abusing the mother now, uh, the daughter loses it and she stabs her dad to death, stabs him like 30 times. She's all in shock. And then the mother starts, I don't know why they didn't think of this earlier, but the mother starts chipping away at the wall, and she finally gets through part of the wall and makes a hole and big enough for her to go through the hole to the outside. And she goes through the hole on the outside, and then it fades to black. It comes back to the daughter waking up. But when she wakes up and comes to, her mom is sitting right next to her, back inside the bathroom, and her mom's covered in blood. Her eyes are all bug-eyed, and she's sitting there freaking out. And the daughter sees the hole, and she goes towards the hole, and the mother grabs her back from going to the hole because something's obviously fucking creepy out there. She's covered in blood. We don't know what happened. And then right after that, whatever's outside comes through the hole really quick. Both mother and daughter gasp and scream and look at what's coming at them. Credits. So I laughed at that. I don't think I was supposed to laugh or find that funny, but it being such an abrupt ending like that, I couldn't help but laugh. But that's when the comments that I came across, they were just like, oh, fuck you, movie. Fuck you. You're not even going to confirm what actually happened outside. You're not going to confirm what attacked them. What was the good boy? Like, what was that, right? So, has anyone seen Knock at the Cabin? Haven't heard much. I think Rick Myers talked about it, John, while a couple of action film autopsies a while ago. He mentioned it. I think he ended up liking it. I'm trying to remember. It's been a while, but I think that was supposed to be good. So yeah, that's the big pet peeve everyone has. People saying that this movie was boring. It wasn't boring. If I can make it through the House of Darkness, this is not boring. Okay. But it's a one location movie, man. It is what it is, right? Either you like those kind of movies or you don't. I saw comments saying that a high schooler who never made a movie before could grab his phone and make a better movie. Stop. Stop it. Okay. All right. Yeah. Just stop. It's very extremely difficult and hard to make a no budget movie. It's hard to make a no budget movie, and it's hard to find distribution for your film to get it out there. But yeah, just people are just really kind of going overboard. I think there was something here. There was a lot of potential here. There was some good moments. There was some creepy moments. There was some suspense building. There was some good practical gore effects. But I can't get mad at people who hate the ending. I understand. I get it. I don't hate the ending as much as other people do. I just kind of accept it. I just like, well, they conjured something and it's the end of the world. The end. Everyone dies. That's kind of how I looked at it. So, I didn't, hate that so much. But it's the 10 Cloverfield Lane. You reading it right now? I told you, right? Yeah, it's crazy. Um, it's the 10 Cloverfield Lane example. So you have people that love 10 Cloverfield Lane because it confirms the fears, and it shows that the aliens are there. And it is an alien attack or an invasion. And then you have some people that absolutely loved the dialogue. Now that's a good example of how to do it right. One location done right with really interesting dialogue, stuff's happening. Did a lot better than this film. But you have this side of the spectrum where people are like, "Oh my god, the acting, the dialogue, the story, the suspense building between those three characters in 10 Cloverfield Lane was amazing." They hate that the alien invasion was confirmed. they hate that part of the movie. They feel like that part of the movie was tacked on, which in reality, it kind of was tacked on. It wasn't supposed to be a 10 Cloverfield. It wasn't supposed to be a Cloverfield sequel. They did that later. They decided to make it that way later. So the ending is kind of tacked on, but you have fans of the movie that love that scene is there. Do we have aliens? And then you have the other side who's like they love the movie until that part was revealed. How you feel about we need to do something will most likely vary. I'm in the camp of both. I really enjoyed 10 Cloverfield Lane, but I understand both sides. I would have preferred it if they didn't. I like both endings, is what I'm trying to say. Like if they didn't confirm it and John Goodman was just fucking insane, that would have worked. If they showed the aliens, obviously it showed the aliens anyway. I was fine with it. I didn't hate it. But you have to look at that example when going into watching We Need to Do Something, because that will vary on how you'll react and respond to the ending. The ending was still abrupt. It didn't have to be abrupt like that. But it's up to you. So now that I've got it out of my system and I've talked about it, if you like one location horror films, slow burn, one location horror films. I'm not saying this is not a great recommendation. Like this is fucking amazing. But I'm gonna give it a recommendation. I'm not gonna say pass on it. I'm gonna say if you're into that kind of stuff, then why not? Why not indulge and check it out for yourself, and then let me know what you thought about it. Worst movie ever? A high schooler with his camera could make a better film. Let me know. But yeah, I recommend it if you're into it, into that genre, low budget, slow burn, one location horror. Um, and you're curious, then by all means check it out. You never know, you may love the film. All right.